Hello students, I'm Dr. Scholastica Ezeribe, your facilitator for this course EGC A04, Techniques in Counseling. Today we're going to look at a topic that says Basics of Counseling and Counselor Characteristics. In this lesson we're going to look at the very basic things you should know in counseling before you go on. Like meaning of counseling, the types of counseling, the areas of counseling, the principles of counseling, and the approaches to counseling. This lesson promises to be very exciting and educating, as the very first thing you should know in counseling. Counseling students should know the basics of counseling and counselor characteristics, and that is what we are going to do today. So I want you to sit back and enjoy yourself. Thank you. Yes, the course is EGC 804, Techniques of Counseling. What we have today is Basics of Counseling and Counselor Characteristics. As a way of introduction, we should know that EGC 804 highlights the various techniques of counseling that can be applied by counselors while attending to clients' problem. That is the summary of what this course talks about. And so, to have a grasp of the knowledge of this course, it is very good that we go back and revisit the meaning and principles of counseling. Now we know that a man seeks attention from human beings, fellow human beings, when in distress or in problem, and have their problems solved. Some go to their parents, some go to their friends, some go to their relatives, some go to the elders and council of their community, and some go to the babalawos, some go to the pastors or the reverends, and at the end of the day they have their problems solved. This helping profession involves counseling by professionals who are trained in the field and clients who may present with a lot of yearning solutions. Now, what do we intend to achieve at the end of this course? By the end of this course, the students will be able to explain the meaning of counseling and discuss its types. The students will be able to highlight the principles of counseling and the characteristics of counseling of a professional counselor. At the end of this lesson, you, the student, should be able to explain the different approaches of counseling through which counseling techniques are derived from, and should be able to differentiate clearly between two or more counseling approaches and techniques. Now, what is the meaning of counseling? We should know that everyone has problem, one problem or the other. The father has a problem, the mother has a problem, children have their problems. Anywhere you are, we have problems. And like I said before, people go to many other people to solve problems. But we have a professional way of assisting people, where some professional trained person is assisting the person with problems. So this professional process of assisting people in solving their problem is called counseling. There are so many things that they do, both in the scientific, in the technological problem, both in the school system and in the non-school system. Everywhere you go, everywhere you can find man, we are saddled with problems. And those specially trained to help people out of their problems are counselors. And the process of this assistance is called counseling. So we have many definitions of counseling put up by so many people, experts in the field of counseling. Most of them come up with counseling definitions, but in the midst of all the different definitions, we have some common fronts. They say the same thing from various views. And from the various decisions, we can see that counseling is an interactive process. That is one common thing basic to all of them. It's a mediating relationship between two persons, the counselor and the client or clients. And the sole aim of counseling is to resolve conflicting problems disturbing the client. And so, what types of counseling do we have? We have basically two types of counseling: the individual counseling and the group counseling. Individual counseling is a one-to-one relationship that is highly personalized, private, and confidential. One-to-one, one counselor to one client. And now we also have group counseling, which is a process of rendering counseling service to two or more counselors at a time, where you have one counselor and two or more people, to a maximum of 12 being attended to by a counselor. That is group counseling. The peculiarity of this group counseling is that the problems discussed in the group counseling are highly personal to the members. The members of the group, be they 2, be they 3, have the same type of problems, and so go to one person, this counselor, and he handles them at a time. That is group counseling. What are the areas of counseling? Or do we say classification of counseling as guidance service? Counseling as a guidance service is classified into 6 areas. We have the educational counseling, we have vocational counseling, we have psychological counseling, we have social counseling, rehabilitation, and marital counseling. Educational, vocational, and psychological counseling are mainly carried out in school settings, while social rehabilitation and marital counseling are mainly outside the school setting, that is, in non-school settings. Now, what are the principles of counseling? The basic principles of counseling here are the operational rules and ethics in the practice of counseling profession, which relate to the degree of uniformity in the process of assisting clients. What are those basic things that you see everywhere which makes counseling the same? These principles are the principle of teamwork. Counseling is not in isolation. It's not there are people involved in counseling. Though the counselor and the client are the main players, but there are other people that are brought together to have the problem solved. We have the principle of confidentiality, where you keep secret. We have the principle of rapport building, that is trying to welcome your client and establishing a good and working relationship between the client and the counselor. Now, what are the different counseling approaches we have? There are 3 major counseling approaches. There are many counseling therapies and counseling approaches, but all of them fall under 3 main categories. Well, that is the behavioral approach, which focuses on cognitions and behaviors based on man thoughts and actions. We have the humanistic approach, which is about self-development in the here and now. And we have the psychoanalytic and psychodynamic approaches, which focus on man's unconscious relationship patterns from childhood. The 3 broad categories of approaches gave rise to so many other counseling therapies. That is, under these broad categories, there are many other counseling therapies under them. And like we have the adherent therapy, this one is under the humanistic. We have the behavioral therapy. We have the brief therapy. Like I said before, cognitive analytic therapy, we have therapy, we have behavior therapy, eclectic approach, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy, existential and approach, givings and holistic psychotherapy. All these therapies are under these three major approach, counseling approach. There are so many other ones, but this for the discourse, these are the ones we are going to take. Remember the counselor characteristics I sent to you on a video. Look at those characteristics of a counselor, the characteristics of being warmed, the characteristics of being patient, loving, being intelligent, and all those ones. I hope you watch the videos. And so if you did, look at them very well and you will be good to go. You will have known the basics of counseling, and we can now kickstart this course in earnest. Thank you. Bless you.